Hello crafty friends, Dawn here. Today I'm going to do some ink blending with my layered die cuts, and I'm going to be using the Whimsy Stamps Hibiscus flower die set. This is a layering die set, but what's great about it is you don't have to layer the flowers if you don't want to. They look just as nice as a single layer. And I'm going to pair this up with the UR stamp set because I'm going to be giving this card to my daughter because I want to let her know how special she is. So let's get started. To save some time, I went ahead and die cut a bunch of flowers in different colors because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet for the flowers. And I die cut a bunch of the leaves out because I'm going to layer them. They tend to be a little on the fragile side and they'll bend easy if you're not careful. So I just want to make sure that they're protected. I also cut out a bunch of the white flowers so that I can layer the flowers that I'll be ink blending for the same reason. They can bend easy when you're running an ink blending brush over it, and I just want to make sure that these die cuts are really sturdy. I'm going to set these aside for now, and let's get started with the ink blending. The first thing I'm going to do is layer my flowers up. Now, when I first started putting together the flowers, I didn't realize they had to go a certain way. So make sure you have them lined up before you start to layer them. It just makes it a little easier that way. On the small flowers, there is one petal that is a little bit bigger than the other 4 petals. And it wasn't noticeable to me at first, but once I realized it, I was able to identify it pretty quickly. So I just wanted to share that little tip with you. I did decide to go ahead and add 2 layers of the white flowers to give the flowers a little bit more dimension. For this flower right here, they only fit together one way, so it was pretty easy to stack them up. So I went ahead and stacked 2 white flowers behind the peach flower, and then I just set them aside. I did 3 flowers in total. Now I'm ready to do some ink blending. I'm using my Distress Oxide ink fired brick. I'm just going to ink the edges of the petals. I don't want to ink blend the whole entire flower. Usually I tell you to go ahead and rub your brush onto the paper first so you don't get any harsh dark spots, but for this particular technique, I actually want the harsh dark spots on the edges of the petal because I want the edges to be super dark because they will lighten up a bit once the ink dries, and I want there to be a nice contrast between the edge of the petal and the middle of the petal. So I did do this for all 3 of the flowers. Then I want to add some color to the middle of the flowers. I took the Distress Oxide Vintage Photo and I did the same thing. I just basically did the edges, but be careful when you're doing this because we didn't double stack them, so you don't want to go ahead and bend these by mistake. I'm going to get all the flowers that I'm going to need to make my card, and then I'm going to take the rest of these flowers and I'm going to save them for other projects. I cut a piece of white cardstock to 4 by 5 1/4, and then I took the paper that I cut my flowers from and I'm going to use that for my border. And no one will even know that we cut the flowers from it. It's a great way to save on paper because colored paper is just so expensive. And then I have a white A2 size card base, and now I'm going to start to assemble the card. I put glue all around the edge of the white cardstock, and then I'm going to put the glue on the orange cardstock in the center between the die cuts. This way, when I adhere the 2 papers together, the glue doesn't get all over the place, and you won't have the glue where the flowers were cut out. Next, I want to add some dimension to my card, so I'm using some red craft foam. You could use white foam or foam tape, but I have a bunch of colored craft foam I wanted to get rid of, and since the orange cardstock is so close in color with the red, I decided to use that. Then I adhere the red craft foam to the white card base. I'm using my Misty stamping tool to stamp the sentiment, "You are special." I line it up in the bottom right-hand corner and then I stamp it with some black ink. I do stamp it a few times to make sure I get a good impression. Now I'm going to assemble the flowers and my card. I layered the distressed flower on top of one of the peach flowers and then I turn it a little so it's kind of off center. I want the peach flower to show underneath it. And then I adhere the center of the flower on top of the distressed flower. And I'm going to just do this for all 3 of the flowers. I laid my leaves where I wanted them to go on my card front. And then I'm just going to arrange my flowers on top of the leaves. And I just am going to adhere everything in place. If you wanted to, you could use Glad Press and Seal to hold everything in place. And I've done that before. And then you just flip it over and you could put the glue right onto the back of all the pieces and then just flip it back over and put it in place. But I was lazy and I didn't want to get up and go get it. So I just picked everything up one at a time and I adhered it to the card front. Now that my card is all assembled, I'm going to use my favorite confetti from This Calls for Confetti. I'm so excited because I just got a new batch of confetti in and I'm using the Apricot pearls. She just got all the pearls in and I was able to get a bunch of different colors, so that's exciting. And I also got this new lift and release tool from there as well. One side is sticky to pick up your gems, and she does sell replacement heads for it. So if it does start to go down, you could get a new head. And the other side is a craft pick. So how cool is that? I love that it's an all-in-one tool, so I just wanted to share that with you. Anyway, I randomly put the pearls on the card and I also put them in the middle of the flowers because I thought the middle of the flowers needed something. And I just adhere them with my glue and my new lift and release tool. I love the look of layered dies and I think this card came out really nice and I think my daughter's going to absolutely love it. And that's going to complete my card for today. I would love for you to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the card. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. As always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me and I hope you have a wonderful day.